friends, and welcome back to Handy Dandy Living. And if you're new, welcome. In today's video, we're going to talk about 3 tips to spend little to no money on spring decor. So if you're interested, stay tuned. So before we get into the details, make sure you go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss an upload, because it's getting warmer. As an educator, I'm about to have some time off during the summer, and so the warmer it gets, the more excited I get, and that means more videos. So make sure that you go ahead and subscribe. Tip number 1, buy smart. Buy plants that are easy to take care of and forgiving of neglect. If you don't have a green thumb, you know you're not good with plants. Make sure that you're buying plants that are easy to take care of. So let's say if you have a plant that you need to put in an area that's not close to a window, read the description and the care tips on the plants so that you can have a plant that will work with you. Tulips, monsteras, snake plants, these are plants that are easy to take care of. So when you're going in the store and you're looking for certain plants to buy, look at the care tips and see what works for you. So another thing to think about when buying smart is to look at the description of the plant. Is it a perennial? Is it an annual? Annual plants typically last for a year. They don't come back the following year. Perennials, there's a variation of time, but usually perennials come back for years. And so naturally you get more money from perennials. So look into that, buying perennials. And if you're not going to buy perennials, you can even look into buying from seed. You get so many seeds in a pack for like maybe $1 to $3, depending on the type of pack that you get, or the plant that you get. But starting a plant from seed could also be more affordable. So this is just a tip within a tip. Make sure that when you're repotting plants that you leave 1 inch to 2 inches at the top available. As you can see, I filled this pot very high and I couldn't understand why, but the way that it looked. So I'm a visual person and I felt like something was off. And so I looked up repotting plants. So there's a key. Make sure if you don't know what you're doing, go ahead and do your research first. Anywho, so yes, I had to repot this plant the next day. So I am aware that I put way too much soil in here at first. Tip number 2, recycle. If you don't have any money to buy plants or seeds, that's okay. Ask a family member if you could take a piece of their plant, take a cutting and propagate it. And so we're going to talk more about propagating towards the end of the video, so make sure you watch till the end. So another recycling tip is to save the soil that you have. If there's nothing wrong with it, there's no mold or any kind of irregular growth in it, save the soil. You don't have to use brand new soil throughout the entire container. Another tip is planters. Make sure that you save them. We know that we prefer something that looks a bit better, and that's okay. Save the planter because you can use that and then place it into another one. Or if you're propagating a plant, then it doesn't really matter because you're going to transplant it soon anyways. So use the planters that you have, save them. You never know when you might need them. So a quick little story about these tulips. I bought them about a year ago. And I low-key forgot about, I did. I forgot that I bought them, sat them in a spot in an area that I don't go around much, and they sat there for a whole year and died. So these tulips, as you can see, are very forgiving. They died and then they started to bud again. I didn't water these plants. I didn't repot them, give them extra soil, nothing. They literally sat in a corner for a year and they still managed to bud. So if you don't get any plant, get tulips. And as you can see, a tulip is a perennial plant. Hey, don't knock me for my knife. Yes, I have gardening tools, but I did not feel like going to get them. And this little plastic knife was the closest thing to me, so I used what I had. So this was a very pretty plant that I had during Christmas. It had a very pretty bright red poinsettia in the middle, and so it was for the holiday season. But the other plants around it, you can use those any time of the year. And so instead of just throwing that plant away in the planter, I'm going to use the planter. I'm going to save it for some other time, but I'm going to take the plants and cut them out. The ones that are living, I'm going to cut them out and just plant them, repot them, and place them other places around the house. Tip number 3, propagate. So propagating is basically when you take a piece of a plant, a cutting, that's what some people call it, and then you use it and place it somewhere else. And so basically you're growing another unit, another plant from a cutting that you took from a plant. So if you've seen my summer, I believe it was my summer clean and decorate with me, if you saw that video, you saw that I really loved azaleas. And so while I do, those plants can be expensive, especially if you're starting from zero. So what I decided this year to do was to, because my parents, they have azaleas all around the yard. And so I decided, well, why not just propagate it? Let's save some money and take a cutting. And I will say you do have to be patient with this process. From what I read, it could take about a year for you to see any true growth from it before transplanting it to the ground. So if you're not patient, then this probably isn't the process for you. But I'm willing to do this. I want to see if it works. And what I'm going to do is buy some plants, but also try to use my resources and propagate. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care.